And number 10, I believe mass formation is 100% real. Mass formation, just think about that term. I first heard of it from a man named Matthias Desmet, a Belgian professor who is an expert on this. And he intelligently and meticulously broke down how this occurs and talked about different parts of history of where this occurred and the results. Some common events that people know are the Salem witch trials, where they were burning women and mothers at the stake. Nazi Germany, Stalin's Russia. That's 3 out of many, many ones. But those are just 3 ones that a lot of us know. Now, what mass formation is there when there are 4 elements of society that are present when a major crazy event happens. It creates an effect where those 4 aspects come into play and they are almost soothed by this new situation. So I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version. First aspect is social disconnectivity, a lack of social bond. We absolutely have this in our culture and in our world. Due to technology, we're all on our phones, we're all on our televisions, we are distracted. We're not having dinner as a family together anymore. We're not, going out there and not staying on our phones. We're always in technology. And we're divided by politics, by social media. This all plays a part in dividing us. Sure, there's some small communities, but not like there used to be. Number 2, a lack of meaning. There's different studies that have different numbers, but the bottom line is more than half of people don't find true meaning in what they do with their jobs. They're collecting a paycheck. They're working to live. They don't love their jobs. Number 3, free-floating anxiety. You're anxious and you don't know why. You're fearful and you don't know why. A lot of that is contributed to 1 and 2. You're always on social media. You're divided. You don't find meaning in your life, and you're just anxious, and you can't connect it to one thing. It's not like you see a bear in front of you and he's ready to eat you, and your brain and body make the connection like, oh, I'm anxious because this bear is about to eat me, and there's nothing I can do besides flex at it or whatever they teach you to do. I'm anxious because of that bear. No, there's no bear here. It's just free floating. And number 4 is free floating hostility and anger. We 100% have that. People are angry. A lot of people I've even talked to over the last several years have just been like they have this sense of they're angry. Maybe it's just where I live. I like to think that. But the way people's tempers are, the road rage, just, again, social media plays into it. And again, you're going to be angry. I catch myself. I'm a pretty stoic guy overall. I got a lot of energy, as you can see, but I'm pretty stoic overall. It's hard to not lash out when you don't have that social bond, when you don't have meaning in your life. It's just bothering you. Something in your gut, in your soul is bothering you because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not fulfilling your purpose. And you have this anger. So now 2020 comes, this major event hits. We all know what it is. And what happens? What do? Well, we all do what we're supposed to do. We do what we're told. We're in this together. We're going to band together and fight this thing and win. And what do? Now you have a new social bond. Now you have meaning. You cure your anxiety. Now I know what I was anxious about. Now you have less anxiety. What are we going to do with all that anger? I know we're going to take that anger out on anyone who doesn't go along with what we're doing, because what we're doing is right, and we are part of society. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do for your common man, we're going to take our anger out on you. And that reminds me of how America and a lot of parts of the world were in 2020 and 2021. And it's still here today. The reason I'm talking about it right now is that it's still here. This doesn't necessarily apply to a virus. This applies to just the way this could be the next thing. It could be anything to do with a war, something to do with some type of information, something to do with any kind of catastrophic event, something like 9/11. These things apply. This principle applies to so many different factors on a small scale or a large scale, like we saw in 2020. Now, numerically, how are the numbers broken out here? I would say 30% of people are bought into the narrative. They go along with what the media says and what the national leaders say in all fields. Then there's 30% on the other side that disagree with everything. They're the contrarians, and they say they see through it, and they're not going to go along, and they'll bring out their arguments. And then you got a middle 40%, which I believe is broken up into three groups. You got people that have convinced themselves that, yeah, the right thing to do is is to go along. You got a second group that they're indifferent. They're kind of like, you know what? I'll make this compromise. They're good people, and they're like, hey, we'll do this for a family member. We'll wear this for you so that you feel better. And you got the third group that wants to kind of say, something's not really right here, but I don't know how to speak up. I don't want to speak up. It's not safe to speak up. And that's why this is part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Not just about this issue, but about everything in the world. You got to speak up. If you feel like you have the capacity and a calling to speak up, you got to speak up. Now, again, this 30, 40, 30 ballpark that I'm bringing out, there are good people and bad people sprinkled throughout that. There are evil people on both sides. There are good people. There are useful idiots. They're all sprinkled, all educations, all skin colors. What did I say about boxes? It's completely scattered. It's not a one size fits all. And the bottom line is we all need to wake up. I'm on the side of all 100% of them. A lot of those 30% that are really fearful and really tyrannical in a lot of ways. They're like tyrannical and fearful. They mean well. They're good people. They just don't, we need to forgive their trespasses, so to speak, and forgive their almost borderline virtue signaling to some degree, while also being scared because they're in this mass formation. They haven't seen how slowly but surely they got there. They would hear this, it would be in one ear, out the other. But there are a lot of people that can wake up. A lot of people in that 40%. The bottom line is mass formation, it's still here. It was a buzz term a few months ago, but it's still here. We need to recognize it.